Well, hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on this planet, Earth, which is going through a huge transformation. My name is Miriam Cunha, and I welcome you to my channel and to my life today about who are we? Where do we come from? Where are we going? Questions that we all have been making with no certainty of answers, navigating blindly through this immense universe. Hello, Zoya. How are you doing? Have a good evening. Sit comfortable, get your popcorn, because the big show of Earth is starting. Uh, I am using a new microphone today, and I hope everything can be heard clearly and loud. I don't know if loud because I'm not talking that loud, but it seems like this microphone is supposed to be better than using those headphones that were a little bit uncomfortable when you do a live. So this way it looks more professional. All right. So if you are listening right now and you like to listen to my videos in Spanish, I have news. I have decided to divide the channel into two different channels. The other one, the new one, will be only in Spanish. This one will continue to be in English, but English only. And the reason why I'm doing that is because it was getting too confusing for people to know if the video was going to be in English or in Spanish. And it was confusing for me too, because sometimes I want to just come without announcing and I have an idea or something I want to share. And I don't know if I should do it in English or Spanish. So I decided to start a new channel from scratch, which will be in Spanish only. And if you like to listen to the videos in Spanish, please subscribe to that channel. Even if you don't subscribe, because it helps the channel. I'm starting from scratch on that one. The link is below here and below, and also on the main page of this channel. I put there among the list of channels that I support. I support myself. All right. So we are here to talk about who are we and what are we doing here? why why do we exist and where are we going to? So those are three very intense, big questions that different religions, different groups, different systems, different ideas of scientists have different answers. But there is something that all think in common is that we came from one thing, that it's all. And the concept of how that proceeded is what the difference is, right? Because scientists, they all, not all, but the main official science decided to agree with the Darwin theory of the evolution from the monkey to the human being. But one thing that science forgets is that we are not our bodies. Our physical bodies is where we are at. We are right now our consciousness. Who are we? We are our consciousness is inhabiting a physical body, which happens to be a human physical body, which probably didn't evolve from the monkeys because our evolution had other paths that science refuses to look at. But there are evidences everywhere. When you look at carvings from ancient civilizations like Egyptians and Mayans and Hindus and Incas in Peru and Aztecas and in Africa, all over the world, you have evidence. And I say evidence because it's very clear to see. Only official science doesn't want to see it. But there's evidence that there were other civilizations in this planet thousands of years before that reached an advanced way of living and technology. So, and then the evidences also show there was a big catastrophe. So, probably the catastrophes happen every so often. And probably we are in the midst of the big storm of this new catastrophe. If we want to look at it as a catastrophe, but we can always look at it as a big shift and change and opportunity to choose where are we as consciousness going to from here on. Because our individual consciousness, our soul, our real self who is inhabiting this physical body. Hello, Robert. Nice to see you. Thank you for coming. So, our real self who is inhabiting this physical body has the opportunity right now to choose a different reality. And that is why many of us have been very overwhelmed since last year with inner awakening of different shapes. Everyone is experiencing it in a different way, depending on where we are at on this journey as an individual. So, if we have lots of things pending to be solved, balanced out, cleared, then this shift came as a big push into our consciousness, and it's like, okay, or you do it now or you're gonna repeat everything again. Yeah, that's right, because we come, think about this background I have here of these lights coming from somewhere. Imagine they all come from the same center of where everything is, that out of a sudden this everything decided to multiply itself into different pieces of light and started moving away and experiencing different things. So they're like pieces of the same puzzle. Our consciousness is like that. It started from where everything was and divided itself into different experiences to travel around and learn to forget. And then now we're learning to remember who we are because we had to forget who we were in order to experience the individual journey of evolution again. And now we are in the opportunity of returning to knowing who we are, remembering who we are. And who we are is like how I was saying, pieces of a puzzle that we are putting it all together now. And I started having this experience last year with an overwhelming amount of memories of myself as a different being, being with some of the same beings that are here in my reality. Some were not, doing different things. And it was like one after the other, one after the other. And I was like, why am I remembering all of this? And now I know is that on the timeline we are right now of this shift, planetary shift, uh, solar system shift, galactic shift, we have a bunch of timelines all crossing together, getting very close together. It's like, um, how would I say? like conglomerating and crossing, and we're having this opportunity of remembering about our other parts of consciousness experiencing different things. And because time is not linear, it's a spiral continue movement, those timelines exist all at the same time. So think about your other experiences not as past lives, but as lives that are happening all at the same time. So when I started experiencing that, I asked my higher self, what is the purpose of me remembering all of that and looking at all of this, and why this part of my consciousness is getting conscious about the and not the other could pull the other parts of the consciousness into one piece together. And that was the purpose. That has been the purpose. So l- when I understood that, the process got easier to understand, and I was able to start processing those awareness memories, the processing the memories in an awareness state of clearing up anything that would be not balanced out. And that is the opportunity we're having right now. It's to balance out, to neutralize our duality between what we've done that is good and what we've done that we consider it as bad, and it's all conceptual according to our level of feeling guilty about what we did. So we have to let go of the guilty feelings about anything that we have done bad, and the pride of all the things that we have done good, to come to a balance. And that is this balance state is very interesting, because this week I was questioning myself, why is it that I decided to take a course that includes accounting. And I was like, why am I doing this? I don't like accounting. The reason I don't like accounting is because it's a set of rules, not because of math, because I like math, but it's about the set of rules that you have to memorize of how the system we live in right now, the old system, imposes us this financial rules, right? So I was questioning that, and my higher self comes like, well, the reason why you are taking this course it's because you have to put the pieces together, because you have to understand how the financial system on this system works, because that is how you find the key to open the portal out of this prison matrix. That's very deep. And I was like, oh, really? So I started having visions of that. Sorry about that. Water is good. So I started having visions that correlated accounting and the tree of life and the Kabbalah. And then last night I was so puzzled about what I was finding that I said, is there a correlation between the tree of life or Kabbalah with accounting? So I typed on Google Kabbalah and accounting. And you won't believe what I found. I found out that Kabbalah means accounting. And then it's like, oh, accounting is not only about accounting expenses and debts and credits, it's about accounting for decisions, either good or bad, and balancing them out at the end, so that we come up to the with the same number from both columns of the duality, and neutralize. So if we balance out, like in accounting, even if we have to make adjustments, then we get to that balance and we neutralize, and then we're able to navigate through the middle path, which is on that tree of life, which I was drawing here. Show you my little magic diary. So this is the tree of life, and let's pretend you have those two columns here. Well, we do have those two columns, which represents night and day, female and male, evil and good, etc., etc. So let's say it represents credit and debit, and we have to balance it out to zero, and then we can actually navigate through the middle path, which is much easier and straightforward to the awakening of our consciousness. So we are having the opportunity now to actually uh, be aware of what we've been doing through throughout our journey as different beings, because our consciousness has not only been incarnated into a human body, but we have been navigating this vast galaxy through different planets, through different kinds of bodies, doing different things, good and bad. And we have to embrace all of that and balance it out right now. And that is the big shift of the planet. That's why there are so many eyes of other beings on this planet right now. This planet is being set as like a huge experience of of a different way of awakening, and lots of eyes of different beings are here. Is this going to work out? And it is going to work out. It already did, but it depends. It's an individual thing. So the more of us that are enlightening, and if you look at from the outside of the planet, you will see like beings that are higher in evolution than us. They look at the planet and they look at all this lit sparks everywhere of people awakening. And the more, the merrier, because then the planet can have a mass. What's the name of that the expression? Uh, we get to, uh, I forgot the expression. Well, a mass of a number that actually makes a movement to shift. And if that doesn't get to that point, it doesn't matter, because the ones of us who have been working on that will move on, and the other ones that haven't, they decided to go through everything again. They will move on to another planet that will go through the same thing all over again. And we've been through that, so we all we've all journeyed in different places, spaces, and experiences, and we're not here to judge anybody on their own decisions. But right now, every single being here, has the opportunity to decide where we're heading with our reality. And that is because we have all these timelines crossing very close together. We're getting to the peak of the storm. There is the astrological aspect of this. It's a huge conjunction of planets with squares and Mercury retrograde and all of that happening during the end of January. It started on Friday and it goes all the way to the end of February. So we have all these weeks until the end of February to go to the peak of the storm. We've been talking about the storm since last year, because last year the storm started at the end of July. But we hadn't experienced yet the peak of the storm. And this is it. It started last Friday. So on this few weeks, we're in this. cross line of deciding individually what reality we want to jump into, because the realities are all parallel right now and very close and easy to jump into, and they are going to start going apart again, and it will be difficult to jump to another reality once we choose one. So right now it's the moment to choose which reality you want to jump into. Do you want to jump into the reality where the system is going to continue the same thing as it's been until now, corrupted and torturing human beings and children and women and killing wars, etc., etc.? Do you want to continue into a system that works with politics that are unfair and fake? Or do you want to change to a system where we will all thrive together and that there will be no uh, unfair exchange of energy to in a form of money, but everybody will have the right to have all the best the system offers in exchange for the best of what you can offer too, because we're all offering from the heart, and we all have the right to the high technology of healing with something that I've heard it's called the mad beds that you go in and it reads your DNA and restores everything automatically. Though this technology has existed already, but the corrupted system we have been living until now has has been hiding all of that from humanity. They don't want humanity. It's not on the best interest of this old system to have humanity happy and thriving, because the beings that have been controlling the system, they suck the energy through fear and anger and all of these low vibrations. And that's why I always keep telling everyone that we should keep right now the highest vibration we can and laugh at the ideas they have been presenting us through TV and media, because they are so desperate that they are leaving this planet, that they are attacking the most they can. So we're in the middle of a war, but it's a spiritual, energetic war. It's a storm, and is going to pass. But during this peak of period that we're going to go through now, we need to understand we have the choice of not only understanding who we really are, that we're not the physical body, but we are inhabiting a physical body, and be in gratitude for this experience, but understanding we came from other experiences and that we have all these other parts of our consciousness getting together with the choice of choosing a different, better experience after the storm. This is big, 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 big opportunity for every single being on this planet right now. It's just that many, unfortunately for them, are choosing not to see this, not to do anything about it. Some people are crying about the old system that it's gone and is not coming back. The world is not going to be the same way it was before here in on Earth. But beings that want that, they will be transferred to a place that will continue to be as it was. So it's your choice. What do you want? You want to continue on that because you were so attached to be tortured by the system. So you want to continue on the same system. That some people right now are very afraid that, oh, maybe the banks are going to close and what's going to happen to our money. Well, it's your choice now, you know. Yes, the banks will close and the system is going to change, but is it changing for good or for bad? It depends on what timeline you decide to be right now. And I have decided that I want to be on the timeline where This thing they call Nesara Gesara is taking over the system and being fair and sharing with all of the human beings. And it's not the same system that we have had until now. On that old system, I don't want to go back because it's a system that, in my point of consciousness view, hasn't been fair and it has been torturing when you actually see a bigger aspect of it. But when you're immersed into that need of suffering, then that's all you see, right? So we are having the opportunity of stepping out of the need or addiction to suffer and to create a new reality for our beings. And I know many of you, many of us are doing that. And every time something presents to us clearly on how good or bad it was or whatever, and we have that opportunity of neutralizing it, releasing it, and moving on, it's another step towards our evolution as a consciousness to a better reality. And that's something that is has been hidden from human beings because history and religions have destroyed a lot of information that would have let us know that there were other civilizations here that reached an advanced stage and went through a catastrophe shift that we're going through now. They hide the existence of other beings from the in the planet and outside the planet. They hide our potential to co-create realities because many of the religions, what they do, they give you a set of ideas and you just have to accept this set of ideas. And I was actually mentioning on the other video that I remember when I was a kid, was about 9 years old. I was in Guatemala, and my grandmother, she was really a big Catholic follower, and she used to do a lot of charities, and she was the one teaching me catechism. So she taught me all this idea that they taught her about how the world was created and how God created everything in 7 days, and all these ideas written in the Bible, but it's like a script. You just gotta accept how it is without questioning if it makes sense or not. But at the end of her stories, I went like I asked her, but if God made everything, who made God? Because for me it wasn't enough. And it is this little kid asking grandma to tell the story of who made God. and and I wasn't in acceptance of certain truths that were imposed since I was little. And someone one time told me, you have to stop questioning things, otherwise, you're going to suffer all your life. In reality, if you don't question, you don't move forward. You don't step out of the preset ideas that imprison us on a matrix system like we are right now. And despite how difficult it was to navigate through reality with the inquisitive mind that I had and with the frightened eyes of people looking at what I was saying, because for the longest time, I couldn't say everything open like that. And actually, it took me a long time for me to actually to come here in public in the video and expose all those ideas. And now I just feel comfortable because I know the shift is happening and nothing is going to stop it. And I stop caring about the judgment of others about the new ideas, or not new ideas, those are old ideas, about the different ideas from the preset ideas we've been all taught. And You get a lot of answers by questioning things. Ask your higher self, and you will get an answer. Your higher self, it's like this with God. It is God. It's part of the whole where we all came from. And we're still connected. We've been always connected to our higher self. It's just that we forgot who we are. But it's time to remember. And there is that song from Enigma that says, uh, uh, it, well, I forgot the other lyrics, but it's something like it's time. It's there now. It's the time to the return to innocence. It's the, lie, hi, hi, oh, hi, hi, hi. And it's a beautiful song. You should look for it. It's Return to Innocence from Enigma. Old song, but it's very deep. And this is the moment we're going through the return to innocence. And what do you feel? What do you think when you think about innocence? A child. So, why did you kill your child? Well, I have good news for you. Your child never died. It just hid under the table. It's time to bring it out and have fun and play and laugh about the big divine comedy we're going through right now. Because everything that is being played on the TV and the radios and the politicians and everything is like a big comedy. There's these beings of evil are so desperate right now that they are not even doing things right. So things are so ridiculous that it's laughable. And did you know that you choose freedom, Marta? Yes, liberdade. Even individual, it's kind of yes. So okay, so let's talk about laughing. There is a technique that somebody in India called laughter yoga, and it works wonders because the brain of our physical inhabited body doesn't know the difference between a real laugh and a faked laugh. When the body starts laughing, the brain releases endorphins. Endorphins makes us feel good. So when we're laughing, we feel good. So what is better, to cry and give the signal to all the cells in our body that there's sadness and make us feel bad and disharmonize the physical body and the organs functioning, or to laugh and have a bunch of endorphins in every single cell and make you feel good and harmonize the system of the body you're inhabiting right now. Because we're going through so much pressure that we need to work towards enjoyment. And laughing is a very powerful tool. Okay, so if you make up a story that makes you laugh and you force laughing, and laughing is contagious, you start releasing endorphins. So we're gonna do that now, which is very fun. And we are gonna pretend we're we're in a roller coaster in a park. There's all these people and this other machines going up and down and around, but we're going on the roller coaster. We sit on our place. We put the seat belt and we're waiting for it with anxiety because it's going to start going up. The ride is going up. So imagine you are on a roller coaster seat with your seat belt and it's going up and it's very, very steep and it's going to reach a very, very high peak point. And we're going up and the anxiety is building and is building and we're almost reaching the point at the top where we're there. Oh, we reached the point and now we're going to die. So you reach the point, the peak of the storm, and now The moment we've all been waiting for, the ride down the roller coaster for fun and laughter. Hey, Robert, your inner child is the child in me. Yeah. Oh, yes, you wrote a song. Oh, you know what? Maybe we should record this song. Bob wrote a song called My Inner Child, and it's beautiful. We have to record that song and share with you guys because it's beautiful. So, how do you feel now? Did you laugh? Did you get into the story? If not, let's make another story. So now a friend of yours that is very, very funny. It's calling you on the cell phone, it's ringing, and it's gonna tell you a big joke. Hi, hi. Oh, really? Oh. Okay, thank you. Okay. Sometimes you can't stop laughing. Martha, so sometimes we cry when we're very, very happy. Having, yeah, but it's not the sad cry. It's just the overwhelming emotion of laughing, happiness. But it's about the feeling, right? So if you're crying because you're very sad, the sadness is the feeling that is going to trigger the energy of your body and your vibrations too. And if you're crying of happiness, your vibration is actually high because you're happy. The emotion triggered tears, but it's a crying of happiness is a different vibration than crying of sadness. And laughing it's amazing because laughing neutralizes good and bad. So it makes you step out of the paradigm of believing on a certain thing too serious. So when you look at these politicians playing their little games and laugh, you step out of that paradigm and you don't donate your energy anymore. You are integral as your own being, your own consciousness, with your own endorphins, making you feel good, while the others that decide to buy into those dramas and stories that they make up, they donate their energy because there are beings of all kinds in this universe, all kinds, good and bad, neutral, all kinds, because this universe, it's infinitely diverse and amazing. And we should embrace all with neutrality. That doesn't mean invoking to your personal field of energy anything that is around. It's just acceptance with boundaries. Okay, like I accept that the system has been like that for its own purpose of learning, and everybody who's been through the system has been learning what needed to be learned, and we have the choice now to move into a different parallel timeline of our choice, and I accept the things as they are without creating struggle, resistance, which creates suffering. And that usually comes from attachment because we have to understand certain principles, hermetic principles of the universe, that those are always there and they never change. One of the principles is that everything is energy, everything is vibration, and everything is always moving, always moving. So if we attach ourselves to a point in the movement of the energy, we create resistance. I got to that conclusion. I remember that because I was like, holy smokes. It was many, many years ago. I think it was before my son was born. I was walking through a river, like a little creek with the where the water was going through the rocks. And I was thinking how flexible water is, that it just goes through and the rocks doesn't create resistance. And if there is a little hole, it goes through and it keeps going and flowing its course, just like these lights on my background, keeps going and flowing. So this is one of the hermetic principles of the universe we need to understand, is that we're always flowing. And if we get attached on our journey to things, to people, to experiences, and we always want to keep things the same way forever, we create suffering. And that's okay if you want to do that, but that's a principle of the universe. So to create happiness for your own state of being, you need to create flowing energy like water. Flowing. You got to flow through without attachment to any of the stones on the way. Let it go and go. Flow, flow, flow. And I know it's easier said than done, but we're here learning, and sometimes we might feel a little cold to say, "Oh, I'm not attached to that, so I'm not going to be suffering if somebody passed away, somebody you loved passed away." And you have two choices. You have a choice to feel, to engage into the attachment and suffering of the absence of the presence of this person you loved, because you're suffering because you were used to and attached, and the person has moved on because it's a consciousness that left the body. That's what death is. And it's a simple concept to understand, but we have to fully grasp it inside so that we get the feeling with it. And the other choice is to understand that that consciousness that was inside that physical body decided to move on because the physical body had some something that wasn't working properly anymore and is gone. And this consciousness can suffer your attachment, because if the person consciousness leaves the body and sees that this person here is attached and suffering because the other person is gone, he'll stay floating around and not move on because he wants to make you happy. But we're now into two different vibrations, dimensions, and sometimes, or most of the time, we cannot clearly communicate. So that's why we need to detach. We detach, especially from people who have passed on. Because if we keep the attachment, we create suffering, suffering on both sides. And that applies to this planet right now, where lots of beings have decided to pass on, pass away, leave their physical bodies. For one reason or another, there are lots of beings and animals leaving the planet right now, and some that have decided to stay and experiment what else is to come right now. And it's an individual decision. We need to make peace and balance out this situation. All right. So we spoke where we're coming from and what are we doing here and learning, and the possibilities of where we're going to. So we're not all going to the same place. As individuals, we have the choice to go to where we have decided to go. And I am conscious that I have decided to stay in this planet, as a new system that is going to be thriving and is not the reality of where they're going to be injecting some poison in your body or there's going to be all this suffering. Now, I choose right now as my consciousness being to be in a place of thriving after the shift. And critical mass, that's what I wanted to say. A critical mass can be achieved, can still be achieved. But if it doesn't, your own critical mass can be achieved by your own option as an individual. All right. Do you have any comments, questions? I think we've been through a lot already. It's a lot of information to process and grasp. And I've been processing this last couple of days the idea of correlating accounting to the tree of life, the duality of the debits and credits to the tree of life as the two columns of duality that need to balance out, just like in accounting, we balance out at the end. And that has been very interesting because I was correlating that to also the triangle that Tesla talks about, that where he says that numbers 9, 6, and 3 are the key to the understanding of the universe. And that triangle is on top of the tree of life, of the Kabbalah studies too, or the Christian religions as the divine trinity, or in any philosophy religion there is this trinity. Everywhere is this trinity. There's one that divides into two and creates a triangle, and the numbers are 9, 6, and 3. So I was trying to correlate that into balancing out 6 and 3 to get to 9, because 6 plus 3 is 9, right? So 9 is the middle path, and 6 and 3 are the opposite forces that complement each other. So, meditating with this sacred geometry symbols and numbers and frequencies gives us lots of clues and aha moments. There are like, oh, look at this. He was in front of me all this time and I didn't notice, or I wasn't ready to notice, but now I am. So keep just meditating with this, with rocks and crystals. I have I forgot the name of this stone, but it's an Hindu stone that they use for meditation. It's and then I was looking at I think it was a joke post. If you have a pet stone, and I decided that I adopted this as my pet stone. My pet stone. So if you work with rocks, if you have pets, animals, if you walk through nature, if you shower yourself with amazing crystal water and energy and the sun, and all of those things open your consciousness to aha moments, to the rediscovery and remembering who you are, where do you come from, and to the understanding that you're deciding right now, at the moment that exists, which is right now, where you're going. The most powerful and important moment of all, it's the moment of the now, where everything coexists and the choices are made. And with this thoughts, I will leave you and wish you a very good night, a very excellent week, and ride over the roller coaster of the divine human comedy this week and the following weeks. And I will be back soon. This channel will be exclusively in English. And if you want to listen to the Spanish videos, please subscribe to my other channel. Even if you don't want to listen, because then you give me a push there on the other channel too. The numbers here on YouTube count. The more uh, subscriptions and likes and stuff, the more the video is shown. Like it creates movements, right, on the search engines of the programming of the internet. All right, beautiful souls, much love from my heart to yours. Always stay in peace and laugh a lot. Good night. There's there.